A brand new free-to-play PlayStation 4 Japanese MMORPG will be arriving this week, specifically on September 10th, and I want to give you guys the rundown on some information about the game, what you need to know going into the release of Caravan Stories, as it's pretty exciting. The PlayStation 4's free-to-play repertoire of high-quality games has been expanding at a rapid pace. We've had games like Path of Exile, Warframe, all of the Battle Royale games, and I can go on and on. The free-to-play library actually has a lot of depth to it. However, we don't have a Japanese game really as a free-to-play experience, at least a high-quality one. Nothing that I can think of right away, at least of the same sense as Caravan Stories. But that will be changing come this week, just in a couple of days on September 10th, and there's a lot of details about the game out right now. The game's actually been available to download as a free-to-play title over through the Japanese PlayStation Store, and there was actually support for Japanese, English, and traditional Chinese language options, so if you really did want to play it, you could have gone that route. However, that's a little bit of a hurdle, and I'm sure most of you guys don't have an immense amount of interest in the game where you did want to go through that hurdle. However, as just another free-to-play game available on the PlayStation Store, you'll give it a look, you'll give it a chance, and let's go over some information about the game directly from the title's official website. And I'll give you guys my general thoughts as well after we go through the official information. So as far as the background of the world, it notes, begin your journey through a never-ending fantasy world across many different races. There are many beings living in the fantastic world of Lair, those who fly, those who walk, those who leap, and those who prowl. Form bonds with the many living beings in the world from the back of your magical fortress, the Caravan. Challenge the mysterious enigma and enemy to all around. Now, just now, I did mention the idea of races, and this game will feature a variety of different races, specifically 5 allies of different races in an interwoven story. First up, you have the Orc, tough in flesh and a fierce will to battle. This race considers defeating powerful enemies to be the highest honor, and they find all forms of weakness absolutely disgusting. You have the Elves, watchers of the forest, prideful of their magical abilities. Elves are said to descend from the ages of the gods, and their self-confident grace goes hand in hand with this lineage. They've used the high magic since time immemorial, which contributes to their apparent mystery. You've obviously got humans in there as well, the most common race in the world, generally industrious. Their zealous self-temperament won't allow them to walk in the shadows of any other races. They tend to have a strong sense of fellowship and place importance on their families, but the differences between the individual personalities can be quite large depending on the environment that the circumstances of birth. Next up, you have the Gessi, which is very interesting, a race comprised of humanoid beasts. They have large eyes and a wealth of fur, and while there are individual differences in strength, the Gessi do generally have a keenness to them akin to that of a wild animal. And lastly, we have the Dwarf, short in stature but fairly tough craftsmen who take pride in their work. Dwarves boast a toughness that defies the imagination despite their lack of height. They do have uniquely skillful hands, but they are known to be rather eccentric and being a blunt race. So as you can see, the races all have their distinct presentation and personalities. You've got the basic humans, however, you've also got orcs, elves, Gessi, which is rather interesting, and dwarves. All of that come together and will offer a sense of variety to the game and giving it a little bit of replayability with all of the different races. So what about the battle system? That is, of course, an incredibly important element to any MMO, and in the case of Caravan Stories, it'll feature cooperative play, PvP, solo. It'll have you battle it out your own way. Skill, time the use of your skills well to gain a chance at victory in battle. There's gonna be raids. When the skies open up, gather your allies and confront the massive bosses. You'll also be able to duel, aim for the top in this tower defense with a twist. You'll be able to build throughout the game as well, train your characters how you want in the more than ample system set. Beasts make allies with over 100 different species of beasts to be discovered. I imagine that this is one of the areas of the game that will be consistently updated as well with new beasts and whatever the case may be. So that is something to note. As far as time goes, the scenery changes depending on what time it is, morning, noon, evening, or night. That's become more of a regularity in a lot of MMOs, so seeing a fluctuating time system is always appreciated. And I mentioned the Caravan earlier, but that is going to be a big element to the game. That's kind of your hub area, and you'll be able to customize your Caravan to be your very own and set off on an adventure from there. And as far as the controls go on the PlayStation 4, the L1, L2, R1, and R2 buttons are set for targeting select enemy characters with a smooth motion, and easily select NPCs or enemy characters. Left stick is, of course, to move. That simple character movement. Right stick is a 360-degree camera. Zoom in and move the view around however you want. The X button is to jump, and then the directional keys and left stick in battle. That is going to allow for skill use. Choose where and how you want to use your skills in battle. The battle system, I'm not completely sold on. It does look a little bit simplistic. However, when I actually play it for myself, I think that'll give me a better idea of what it has to offer. But at this point, again, I'm a little bit skeptical on that, and the gameplay doesn't seem to have as much depth as to some of the other major MMORPGs, but again, having not played the title yet, I can only say so much on that end. However, presentation-wise, it does look a little bit simplistic. And in addition to the main story that you're gonna play through by the player's avatar, the unique stories possessed by each of the over 100 heroes will be connected like puzzle pieces to unleash the mystery of the world. There is a narrative attached to this game, and hopefully that narrative is somewhat compelling. And again, those 100 heroes are across the 5 races that I mentioned a little while ago, so a lot of depth in that regard as well. Caravan Stories was originally scheduled to release over here in North America a while ago back in July, but it had to be delayed to iron out some issues, and hopefully it releases as a rather compelling product from the get-go and not a lot of server issues and anything of that notion. The game itself, again, I don't foresee it being the top MMO in the market. It's definitely not that in Japan. I don't think it's going to be at the level of a Final Fantasy XIV or anything like that. However, it is a completely free-to-play experience. If you do want to invest money, you can obviously do that, but at the same time, it does have a more anime look to it that is going to cater towards some people. Some people are going to be absolutely all over the art style, while other people are going to be a little bit put off by it. But if you're all over that kind of art style, at the very least, give the game a chance. It is going to be a free-to-play experience. See how you like it. I know it's a little bit unfortunate that it's being released right around the same time as other major titles and another RPG, obviously this one being an MMO, released right in between Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Greedfall is coming out on the same day, and then September 13th we have the release of Borderlands 3. So yes, a little bit of a heavy period in terms of game releases, and especially game releases that require a lot of investment. I mean, Iceborne is going to require north of 50-60 hours, probably even more than that. Greedfall is going to be a sizable experience, and Borderlands 3, the same story with that. It is going to be a relatively lengthy game. Caravan Stories being an MMORPG, it's probably going to be the most time consuming out of all of them and the most required of you to invest hours into the game before the game really gets to its peak form. But nonetheless, a game that I did want to highlight as a free-to-play release. It's going to add to the immense free-to-play library on the PlayStation 4, and this is out September 10th. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. I know this is a game that many of you, as I've been seeing in the comments section, are a little bit skeptical on, based on that simplistic gameplay, based on the fact that yes, as far as a console and PC MMORPG, it doesn't seem to have that immense level of depth, but I'm still interested in it. I'm hoping for the best out of this one, and if I can fit it in around the time of the release of all of these other major titles, I do want to pour in a few hours of gameplay into this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.